Welcome, our fellow lovers of love, and thank you for joining us on yet another excursion through the stream of consciousness, down the river of tranquility, to fill the lake of life with love.
And good evening, our fellow lovers of love out there, and welcome to the end of 2024. For some of you, that will be a good thing. For some of you, that will be a bad thing. And for others, it will be just another day. So, in this episode of Late Night Love, we dive into the top love trends of 2024. We're going to review those. Well, from prioritizing meaningful relationships over casual dating to the growing importance of self-love before seeking romance. That's a good idea. We explore how the landscape of love is evolving. We discuss the challenges of digital dating, the rise of multi-dating, and the serious implications of emotional cheating. Plus, we tackle listener questions about relationship dilemmas, parenting woes, and work-life balance. So tune in for an insightful and engaging conversation on the complexities, I almost had that one, of modern love and life. It was close. That was close. So it's the end of the year. It's the end of the...
Yes, and for those of you watching, this is what I will be wearing New Year's Eve. This is our New Year's Eve show. And my Harry Potter jammas.
I was wondering why you're wearing pajamas on the show, but I was just going to leave it to your wardrobe department. Made a choice.
Well, now you know why.
Okay, so there was an actual meaning for it.
Yes.
It's not that you just got up late and ran in here.
No, this was a conscious decision. I laid this out before I took my shower.
Okay. Well, see, because my wardrobe can be, I didn't think about it until 5 minutes before the show, so I just grabbed that.
No.
That's when my wardrobe, God, this is going to be one of those days. Wardrobe department says is, oops, I forgot. And we come up with a decision last minute. Well, of course, if it's really bad, that means I did plan it, but that's a whole nother discussion. So how was your 2024? How was it? Most years are mixed bags for most people, right? It's, you have successes, we have failures, we have everything in betweens, the triumphs, the sadnesses. So, all in all, how was your 2024?
I would say it was really good. I had a lot of spiritual growth, and that has brought peace into my life. And that is a major goal for me. I had a tumultuous life, and now I get to slow down. And it's been since I met you. I've been on this journey of more and more peace into my life, and the healing. And you gave this house was my first safe space that I can remember, and I don't know how long.
Well, Grandpa thanks you for that. I'll pass on the thank you, because that's all Grandpa's doing. These bricks, we live in a brick house, and these bricks were quite literally laid with blood, sweat, tears, and love. My grandpa built this house for his love. She wouldn't marry him unless she had a house, so he started building her a house. So this house is quite literally built
with
love in the very foundation of the house. So it permeates everything, and everybody who passes through here gets a sense of that. And so I've been greatly appreciative. It rescued me. It saved my life. So I have great thankfulness for this house. Now, my 2024 was busy, and it's just, I do not organize my life well enough to be that busy. And so I'm either going to have to become less busy or better organized. It's one of the two things that's going to have to happen in the next 12 months.
I'm very busy, but I'm talking about his peace of mind.
Yes, I know.
Okay. All right. Okay, good.
But we moved on past your 2024. We're
Sorry.
on Well, my 2024.
That was a little bit of crosstalk.
Yeah,
there.
you're all good.
Sorry.
It's all good. It happens. It happens. It's you do a live show like this. These kind of things happen. Not the end of the world. We don't script this, right? We're not reading from a teleprompter
Obviously.
or a script. Yeah, clearly. So it is what it is. And I am the director, which is why things like this go wrong. And we always continue to forget to say, hey, you can find us at latenightLove.us. You want to send your comments, questions, suggestions, blah, 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 blah. You can send them to love@latenightLove.us, and we will answer them anonymously, of course, on the air.
Yes.
As is our.
So I have a question.
Yes.
In your 2024, what skills did you learn from being busy? Did you learn anything?
I learned that I'm not organized enough to be that busy. That's what I learned. So my task for the next whatever long it is, it's not really a resolution, is to either figure out which one I'm going to choose to be. I've either got to be less busy or more organized. And that's a choice I'm going to have to make. We'll see which one I choose. I don't know yet. I haven't decided.
Life with you is always exciting. I never know what's going to happen.
Hey, welcome to the club. Neither do I. Strange things happen to me. I have to, we should tell him about the dentist story about me trying to get on dental care because I forgot to fill out paperwork 2 years ago and trying to get me added again. Oh, man. Yeah, that was a, no, I didn't forget to fill out paperwork. I didn't know I had to fill out paperwork because there was a miscommunication during the hiring process. I didn't think we had dental, so I didn't worry about it. Apparently we did have dental, but because I didn't fill out the paperwork, you weren't paying for it. So, everybody was perfectly happy until auditors got involved, and we needed to, someone who had dental quit, and we had to anyway, it became a nightmare of my own making that I had to help clear up. I was my own problem employee at that point. I wanted to go kick myself in the butt. So what are you going to do? Sometimes you have to fix problems of your own making. It's annoying. All right. So top love trends. What were the top love trends of 2024? So let's start with this here. What do we got?
Okay. Conscious connections. More people are prioritizing meaningful and intentional relationships over casual dating.
Yes. The shift is people are finding out that mass casual dating is, even though they find out community is always community, culture is always conflicting, right? There's being a more conscious choice to choose healthy relationships over superficial ones, shall we say. We'll call it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, well, if you engage in enough of those superficial relationships, you end up right where you would have been without them. You're still alone.
Yes, you are.
Right. All your problems haven't gotten where you've just occupied a few hours of your time. That's all that really happens. And there's consequences to that you aren't always aware of, and that not everybody gets the same set of consequences. The same behavior doesn't necessarily get the same consequences. Life's like that, right? Everybody goes out and rolls the dice. Sometimes you roll a nat 20 and other times you roll a 1. And for our gamers out there, they will understand what that means.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, you get
I have owned several 20-sided dice in my life.
Yes. You roll the nice long shot. You roll a thing 20. Woohoo! You roll a 1. Oh crap! That's not going to go well. And so the more times you roll that dice, the more chances you have of either great success or a huge failure. And the question becomes, how many failures do you want to rack up? So maybe you don't roll that dice as often. Maybe you roll it in cases where you've got buffs to your character so you can increase the score even if you do roll bad, right? Anyway, more people are choosing to be more conscious about their relationships they are creating, not just casual, not just dating. We're talking intentional relationships all over the place, right? Some of that was political, but I think it's actually shifted past political to more thought process. We don't care if you're politically different. We care if you have the same general view of wanting the world to be a better place. and the same generic perspective of that. We can disagree on paths to get there, but we want to have the same generic there.
Mm-hmm.
I think is the moment, and that is a good thing, but it's also a dangerous thing because you end up creating. If you go too far with it, you end up creating the same type of siloization that we're dealing with now. Okay, so next is digital dating dilemmas.
With the rise of online dating, issues like ghosting and kitten fishing continue to be prevalent. What's kitten fishing?
Well, we all know what ghosting is, right? When people just kind of leave you alone. Which, personally, I don't
You
necessarily.
just never hear from them again.
I've never understood why people mind ghosting. But anyway, kitten fishing is when your online dating profile and stuff do not match reality.
Oh.
Let's say you're a 6'2" tall, dark, and handsome tech bro, and you really are a 5'7" angry bloke who works at the at the 7-Eleven. That type of thing. Just where reality and your profile don't match, which is nothing new. I don't understand why these things have been around since the beginning of dating and relationships and those type of things. Way back in the days, you would put your personal ad in the newspaper or in the magazine, right? Do you think they were honest? No, you're trying to get as many replies as possible and hope that one of them works. That's so, but it is best to be as honest as possible in your online profiling, right?
Well, absolutely, yes. You can be kind of generic, if you're a female. If you're a female, you're going to get hits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here would be my suggestion. If you're not honest, you're not going to get what you want.
I was always honest.
You'll never get what you want. You may not get anything if you're honest, but you'll never get what you want if you're not. So you might as well be honest with the whole thing. Because why not? Otherwise, you're just wasting both of your time. And even if you don't care about their time, you should care about yours.
I learned as a child, I can't keep track of my lies. I can't keep track of them.
Yeah.
So I give it up.
I'm not smart enough to lie. That kind of thing. So, well, I lived a long time with anxiety disorder, and essentially it I don't want to say forces you to live with a lie because that's avoiding responsibility. But you choose because you misinterpret the world. You choose to present what you think the world wants instead of your true self. And so it's essentially living a lie. You're lying all the time. But you don't think of it that way because
you're surviving.
Yes, based upon a complete misinterpretation of the world because you're living in fight or flight and the rest of the world is just living, right? Mm-hmm. And so you're misinterpreting the world. You think everybody else exists the same way, so you think that's what everybody else is doing. And you're not necessarily straight up lying. Yes, of course, there's that part of it, but most of it is just pretending to be something you're not. And while, yes, that's a lie, is that a lie for a 12-year-old or 10-year-old who doesn't understand the world around them, is misinterpreting the world around them? Mm. I don't want to be that harsh. No, but as an adult, once you understand that you're misinterpreting the world, you have an obligation to yourself, if not the world around you, to try and correct that past behavior and, in future-wise, to try to correct that mindset, the way you interpret the world. Mm-hmm. And it takes a long time to reprogram yourself. It's not a fun process, trust me, but it's ultimately rewarding. Mm-hmm. It is not a fun process to kind of retrain how you rethink and interpret the world because you've got instinctively fighting against you. Not just your instinct through anxiety disorder, you've got your instinct for, in my case, 35 years of practice, having to unlearn and reprogram, right? So it's better if you can start that at 15, 12, 10 than if you started that at 35. So the sooner you got to start, the better off you are. But once you accept it, once you realize it's your responsibility. Anyway, we got off on a tangent. So just be honest as you can. Anyway, on these type of things. Right? Be clear. And if you're out there posting, personal ads, put exactly what you want. You may not get it, but at least you will,
You just might.
yeah, but at least you won't get what you don't want. Okay.
Self-love first. There's a growing trend of individuals focusing on self-care and personal growth before seeking romantic relationships.
Yeah, well, we just talked enough about that in kind of answering the last one, talking about the last one. Because, yeah, you have to take care of yourself.
Yes.
Because if you're not your best self, or at least on the path to be your best self, right? Because your best self is going to evolve as you go down the path. Your vision of that should evolve. You should never actually cross your best self finish line. Because anytime you start to get close, you should reevaluate where that finish line is. And it happens naturally. You don't have to actually think about doing it. It will happen naturally because you're on that path. You start to get close to the finish line. You realize victory is there. And, hey, but I'm not finished yet. I don't, I still got places I think I need to improve and things I need to do. And so you just move that finish line on yourself. And it's not a conscious thing. It just kind of happens. And then one day you realize, hey, I moved my finish line. What? That thing's back there. What happened? And, and you realize, you shrug your shoulders and you keep moving because you know that you're on the path you want to be on. And it doesn't matter where the finish line is at that point. Right? So just keep moving forward. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. And then you're in the position. You're in a strong self. You're in a position to take somebody else in who's also on their journey, regardless of where they are on their journey, right? You could be on vastly different places, but as long as you're both headed towards your better selves, you can both have a better life together. Okay.
Multi-dating. Many singles are choosing to date multiple people at once to explore their options before committing to one person. Now, this is different from
Dating?
casual dating.
Well, this is just dating. Well, we used to call it playing the field, I guess, is what I don't understand why they have this need these days to give things new words and call it the same thing. And to give it
Well, their intent is different.
No, that's exactly what playing the field was. You're out searching.
Try and find one that you click with.
Yeah, that's why
the magic happens.
That's called dating. When you haven't committed to one, so you're dating that's called dating. If you're a little more than average, we call it playing the field, or in this case, multi-dating. But it's just dating. That's like the definition of dating. Maybe you've ramped up the frequency. Maybe that could be the thing. But it's just what we used to call playing the field. I don't know why we have to give it a new name and a new label and suck it on and we invented something different. No, you were just dating. Sorry to break it to you. It's like we call it emotional cheating, right? There's the next one.
Emotional cheating. Yes, emotional infidelity has become a hot topic, with many considering it more serious than physical cheating. I think I would be equally devastated, but it would be harder for me to get over the emotional cheating.
That's an interesting one because everybody goes through periods of your life where you need to lean on someone other than your spouse for whatever reason. And that could be viewed by some, maybe even as your spouse, as emotional cheating.
Oh, well, I'm not talking about having a close friend.
Well, yeah, but so where's that line?
Romance.
But if it's all online, where's that line?
Romance.
There is no real romance online.
It's the verbiage. Who says I love you? If there's I love yous, come on, you know what I'm talking about.
Well, yes and no. I don't know. This is one of these things where you and I can sit down there and figure out what we mean by this. But using the generic term, everybody's going to have their own version of this. right? This is the old one person who's a little more jealous than the other person. If someone's just sitting there playing, spending a lot of time playing, I don't know, dominoes online, right? And of course, they have personal conversations during this thing. There's no real, what you'd call romance, but there is deep personal conversations that you're not having with your wife at the moment for whatever reasons that is happening in your marriage. Stress, health, whatever reasons. Some would view that as emotional connections. You are using that other person for the emotional support that you would normally be reserved for your spouse.
I wouldn't consider that emotional. I don't. I personally do not consider that emotional cheating.
See, for me, I could the romance part of it, I could forgive and move on past far easier than the other part.
Yeah.
See, that's why everybody's individuals, right?
No, if it's just button uglies, then it would take me a little while. Like, what did I? Because I would have a part. I'd have to figure out what was my part in this.
That's the whole. Yeah.
But if you want romance, screw us. You have to go to the idiot island.
Well, it depends what you're considering romance, I suppose. See, that's the whole point, right? Trying to define exactly what emotional infidelity means. They mean two completely different kind of things to us, right? We have a different version of it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my point, right? So just creating emotional infidelity, it's a hot topic because not everybody's going to agree exactly what that means. Some people will have a more, losing that emotional connection is more important than the physical connection, and other people are reversed. So as a generic answer to that. So, all right, we're going to move on to our regular questions. But before we do, so let's wrap that up real quick. And so 2024 is people are just people. There's nothing new under the sun is what I'm standing on. It's even this new technology. People used to write love letters. Come on. Yeah, well, I do think there is things shift, right? The free love of the 60s led to kind of a more open but settled 70s, shall we say? Yeah. Which led to, I don't want to call the 80s a repressed decade because they surely weren't repressed, but in popular culture they were. Now, behind closed doors, the 80s were wild. They were like the 60s on performance enhancing drugs, shall we say. But the cultural presentation of that was family friendly and all that. And I think we have just spent the last 10, 12, 15 years in kind of a very open but controlled culture. Right, we explored all kinds of new and some would say interesting, others would say not so much things in movies and cinemas and cultural, right? But at the same time, it was also quite repressive to those who were outside of those ideas. Yeah, which isn't anything new. But the silent majority, such as they were, those people who want at least the culture to present some sense of the best side of us, not the stuff we do behind closed doors, kind of a sense to return. You know what I'm saying? There's a sense that, keep your behind closed, knock yourselves out. Go knock boots, bring in 10 people to knock boots together. I don't care. We just don't want to see about it in popular culture. I think we're kind of reaching that type of a shift, right? Keep it in your niche cultures. Go have your film festivals, knock yourselves out. Well, I think we learned way back in Roman times that kind of really out there in your face parties, doesn't lead to a happy society. No. Well, that by itself I don't think those by itself has any relation to society. They don't lead to generically happy people en masse. There are groups of people who can be successful, have right 1%ers, the 2%. It's like anybody. There's 1 to 5% of people who are gonna have success. Thrive. In that type of thing. But for the average person,
No.
yeah, it's like people who eat, what is something like escargot or the eggs. What's the other thing?
Well,
No, eggs. No, the fish eggs.
caviar.
Caviar. There you go. It's like escargot or caviar. How many people actually like escargot, caviar, or liver?
Me. I don't like liver though.
Right, but you're one of like 5% of the people who like like caviar and that kind of stuff. That's my point,
Well, it
right?
has to be served properly.
All right, we're gonna definitely after this. I did not want to know you like caviar. All right, are you a fish? That's what I fish with fish eggs. Okay, well, when I was a teenager, I fished. All right, we're gonna do relationship questions first tonight.
Alrighty.
All right.
Why do men lie about their age on dating apps? I mean, you're gonna find out. Why do y'all do that? You never did.
Why do women lie about their age on their birthdays?
I make a joke about it, but I'm proud of this.
Yes, but
I made it this far. I didn't think I was gonna make it to 60.
yes, but it's I'm 29 again, right? How many women? It's a joke. It's how many women are.
Well, I played that joke too. I'm 40 again.
It's the same reason. It's just when you're 16, you want to be 18. When you're 18, you want to be 21. When you're 35, you want to be 30. When you're 60, you want to be 50. It is what it is. It's you think you're leaving in a dating sense, you're looking for your window, right? Your window might be 5 years on one side or the other, 10 years on one side or the other. Like when we were dating, my window was 10 years younger, 10 years older. Any more than that feels creepy, right? That's kind of, it wasn't a hard, fast rule, but it was a general, that's where I was looking, right? I'm not going to look on one side or the other because there's no point. It was kind of my theory. And so they're trying to narrow that focus for the person who's looking at them, right? So maybe they figure 5 years one way or the other. So they're looking for someone who's age
a little bit younger, yeah.
A little bit younger, a little bit older. It depends. Some people like older, more mature women, depending upon their age. So we're assuming that this is a 60-year-old trying to say he's 50 rather than, or a 70-year-old trying to say he's 60 rather than a 20-year-old trying to say he's 30. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, or a 20-year-old, 25-year-old trying to say, trying to think he's more successful in life. So they're just trying to target their window. And again, you're right. The dishonesty will come out to get them in the long run, but they're not thinking about the long run. They're lonely. And so they're just trying to hook a fish so they can. It may not even be physical loneliness. It may be emotional loneliness that they're actually looking for. And they're using the physical thing as a substitute because that's what humans do. Okay, what's next?
I found my boyfriend's Reddit. Now I'm concerned. How do I approach this?
That doesn't help.
He was talking about their relationship and their problems.
You ignore that. Forget you read it. He's working through it. I mean, I suppose if he's planning on leaving, then it's a nice heads up. But otherwise, you let him work through his problems. He's working through his problems. Likely doesn't have a lot of experience, so he's asking his support group what to do. It's no different than you calling up your girlfriends asking for advice. And if he was listening into the phone conversation, how would you feel? It's no different. Just because it's Reddit doesn't make it a different. That's a support system. Leave the support system alone. He's working through things. Let him work through things.
All right. But you don't think it's okay for her to say?
No, because you're going to destroy his. He's no longer going to feel safe there.
Oh.
You're going to destroy his support group.
Mm.
He's no longer going to feel safe. He's no longer going to be free. You sit down, you shut up, and you pretend you never read a damn thing. Unless, again, there was generally something specific to be concerned about. But just generally that he's out talking to people, those are his friends. They're no different than your girlfriend group who you talk to and about your relationship problems with, be it your sisters, your girlfriend, whatever it is. Those are his friends. Those are his support groups. Those are the people he talks to.
That's going to be really hard not to say something.
I know. You shouldn't have been looking, shouldn't you? And again, unless you found something very specific, evidence of infidelity or that he's, planning and making an escape plan. Of course, if he needs an escape plan, there's bigger issues. But if it's just generic, she drives me crazy the way she snores or whatever happens, leave it alone. Maybe you can quietly use it to, the knowledge you gained on that one trip to quietly improve on the small things that you can do to improve the quality of your relationship. But you don't go back, you don't snoop. You bleach your brain from it as best you can because you don't want to ruin his safe space.
Okay.
Again, barring something specific. Okay, what's next?
My husband cheated with a close friend for a year. It's a year post-affair, and he is finally doing all the things necessary to fix things. Can things improve?
Oh, can they? Yes, but you have a choice. You want to join on the journey to improve. You are not obligated to take that journey, but you have to decide now: do you want to or not? If the answer is yes, then yes, they can improve. If the answer is no, I can't do it, then the answer is no. And either answer is acceptable. Now, you can still say yes and fail, but failure is always an option. So the question is,
well, they continue to coexist. So at least there's something there.
Yeah.
That kept them together for a year.
But I don't know. Maybe she put down, here's the things you have to do in order for me to consider, and so he's done those things, and now she's at the point where she has to make a consideration. Does she want to continue on the journey or not? She's under no obligation to. Let's be clear, right? But if can things improve? Yes, they can.
Well, if she's writing in, I think she's hopeful.
Yeah, she's hopeful and rightfully skeptical. But if it's gonna improve, she's gonna have to park most of that skepticism.
Mm-hmm.
Park it all would be impossible, right? Don't ask for the impossible. So you're gonna have to park most of it, right? It's just the only way forward. So that's all. Good luck. Okay, what do we have?
My girlfriend is extremely wealthy and I am not. How do we make this work?
Stop worrying about it. You do the realities, right? Everybody, I'm assuming you have enough to pay for your own day-to-day expenses. If she wants to go do something big and expensive, she pays for it. Just like if the situations were reversed. You treat it no differently than the situations were reversed. It's a modern world, man.
And you know what? If it were a man who was extremely wealthy and the woman who was not, no one would be batting an eye and writing into Reddit.
No.
No,
if you go, she wants to go to a nice fancy dinner, she's going to have to pay for the nice fancy dinner. You get a nice fancy dinner out of it.
But that doesn't mean that you can't plan you'll go out, take her out to pizza too,
Yeah. Well, she may not want to go out for pizza, and that's fine, but she should also realize that.
Well, dinner.
My guess, this isn't her problem. It's his.
Mm-hmm.
So where is that? We're, flip the script. If you were the one who was rich, how would this go? And if the situation's reversed, and that's how it should be. But don't take it again. The key in this, regardless of, is don't take advantage. Be mindful of not taking advantage, even accidentally, because you can accidentally take advantage. So be mindful to not accidentally take advantage. Don't make plans for her money.
Well, yeah.
Not even accidentally. Like, hey, we'd like to take a vacation. No, You don't have enough money to pay for your half of the vacation. You don't get to mention the vacation. If she brings it up and she wants to go on a vacation, she wants to take you with you, and she invites you to start planning the vacation with you, and she will accept whatever contribution you can make. Great. You guys can make the vacation plans together. You don't get to mention the vacation. That's all I'm saying. Your vacation thing, hey, you want to go up to, you want to go down to the beach and go camping for the weekend? She may love that, right? You don't know what. She could be very down to earth.
Yeah.
Or she goes, yeah, I'd like to go spend a weekend together, but we're going to get this nice Airbnb down here. It's going to cost you $200. Give me $200. Right? She may have a more luxurious desire for that weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And right? That's how you work those kind of things out. Don't make it a big deal. It's not a big deal. And if you wanted, the best thing to do on this is flip the script and then ask how you would deal with that. Okay.
My husband has a crush on my sister. What would you do?
Well, define crush. Does he think you're...
He thinks she's pretty, he hangs on her every word. Ha ha ha. Loves all the time around her, giggles, He's got a little crush on her.
I don't know. Well, if your sister's probably a lot like you, right? I'm going to assume you probably look similar, probably have similar attitudes. So why wouldn't he like her? These things, I don't know.
There's surely nothing to do, hon.
Yeah, no. People in their 30s talking about crushes.
It doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't.
Hey, be happy to get along. There's my suggestion.
It's just a little harmless thing.
I wouldn't even call it a harmless thing because
it's not even a thing.
They may not even know they're doing it, right?
I know, yeah.
It may just be they're comfortable around each other because she's very much like you and he's comfortable around you.
You know that it sounds like someone is a bit jealous.
Maybe they've been jealous of her sister for a long time. Sisters can get. Could be.
Maybe the sister is.
Oh, who knows? Maybe the sister's
outgoing or something. She's a flirt.
Maybe the sister's stolen boyfriends before.
We don't know.
Ooh, that might be a good one. So there could be other issues on
there. Could be other issues here
that we don't know. But generically speaking, 9 out of 10, barring sibling issues and whatnot, it's just people who would generically like each other. Be happy they like each other. It's just would be my thing at that. Okay, what's next?
I have just found out my partner is sending nudes to other women. How do I approach this? Now, this is called cheating, darling.
Yeah, this goes back to the first where we started, kind of.
Well, yeah, at the beginning of the show. Is
it context or not? Do you define it as cheating or not? Are they passing time or are they cheating? It could just be passing time. It's entirely possible. All they're really doing is occupying space.
So it's just like a monkey wanting to show it off.
Yes. It could be. A lot of these things are exactly that. People killing time because they've got nothing better to do.
I think they're trying to get their egos stroked.
Some of that, but there's no real there. They're never actually going to go off and do anything. They don't have the courage to do it. And that's why they're trolling on the internet, sending monkey pics out to a bunch of people. At this stage, I would suspect there's other issues in the marriage, and I would focus on those. Repairing those will solve most of that.
So there's other issues.
Yeah, they have. Most common issue is life has forced them to grow apart, and rather than filling time, right? Yeah, we have downtime, right? Every relationship has downtime. We have our own downtime, and we fill those. But every few hours, at the very least, we come together and we hang out for 5-10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They need to do something similar.
Talk about stuff.
Yeah, we have this.
We have a conversation.
And we have a project we work on
We have a
together.
project, yes.
So we have ways where our relationship comes back and reconnects, even if most of our downtime is spent watching Star Wars movies or doing research for a TV show or playing video games or doom scrolling YouTube when I don't feel like working on the stuff I'm supposed to be working on.
And I got my Facebook kitten
Yeah, you got your Facebook kitten, you've got
and
your
stuff.
Interpals thing where you're online. We have different lives that we get to lead, but we reconnect them every now and again,
Yes.
and we do that consciously. And my suspicion is, like many relationships, they don't have that thing where they make a conscious decision to reconnect.
Hmm.
If you sometimes that's other couples use dinner for that, right?
Mhm.
Where you sit down, you prepare dinner, you eat dinner, and you kind of clean up dinner and that kind of thing. That's where your time to reconnect. But
Mhm.
in the modern world where people are eating dinner at their own times, their own paces, much like we do, they don't have that.
Mhm.
That's why that dinner table for a lot of people is so important, because that's that one time where a family can come and reconnect. We didn't need that because we reconnected randomly throughout time. We were conscious about that.
Mhm.
So be conscious. My suggestion, if you want to repair that marriage and stop something worse from happening, is find a way to start reconnecting. Doesn't have to be major. It can be 5 minutes at a time, right? It doesn't have to be a huge thing. And I say right way too many times. Okay.
How can I cope with the fact that he's leaving me to try again with his ex-wife?
Well, what are you trying to cope with? Just treat it. My suggestion is to just treat it like any other failed relationship and move on. Trying to understand the workings of other people you're never going to, so don't try.
That's just a little hamster going around in a wheel up in there.
Yeah, because even if you get it right, you'll never really know. So
yeah, you'll never. That's
yeah.
There's gonna be some unanswered questions here.
Yeah,
for you.
Now, generically speaking, you can call yourself stupid for a couple of days for going, for falling for it, whatever kind of thing you want to go for. But it's just another failed relationship. Don't overly worry about it. Whether it's his ex-wife, somebody else, or no reason at all, it was a doomed relationship. So the reason
really doesn't matter.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter. Okay, now let's talk about some doomed relationships. We're on to parenting. So
okay, mother disciplined my child against my wishes and ruined our Christmas. Now she wants to know, short of forbidding her mother from seeing the child again, how can she make her mother understand this is not okay? The child was crying and the mother was just continually screaming at the child, and punishing him for crying.
Well, this is the difficult one, because preventing in a situation like that where it's not really a danger, withholding the relationship is more damaging to the child than the grandmother. So you're actually, in that sense, you're not punishing your mother, you're punishing the child. But you can control the relationship. If she can't behave herself at Christmases, you don't get to see her at Christmases. You don't do Christmases as that family unit. It's those are the kind of things. It's not that you end the relationship totally, it's you remove them from the circumstances that are going to ruin a day. You don't get Christmas, you get the day after.
Yeah.
You don't get Easter, you get the day after. You don't get Thanksgiving, you get you get that weekend. Those are things you deal with that. And then you just let nature take its course the rest of the time. The rest of the time it says, I'm busy. You're too busy to be bothered to go out of your way.
And in reading this, what happened, I mean, the mother put the child alone in the room and shut the door, and held the door shut, and I mean, it just escalated, just completely out of control. But I want to know why these parents didn't know it's okay to say, all right, that's it, we're going home.
Yeah. Well, if your child has, at some point, your child has lost control, the only thing you can do is, I'm just going to distract the sucker in the car and we're out of here. They're overstimulated, whatever it happens to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When you have an autistic child, sometimes you have to do that in a grocery store. They can't take anymore. It is what it is. You go up, you find somebody. I apologize. I got to get him out of here. Can you put the carts away? And normally an employee will put it away for you in that circumstance. They don't want a screaming child in the store any more than you do. They're perfectly happy to go put your groceries back while you take your screaming child home. Yeah, I'll have to go grocery shopping tomorrow, or find someone to come watch the kid while I go grocery shopping. It happens. And Christmas is just a day. Christmas can't be ruined. Right? So you didn't have the best Christmas in the world on that particular moment, in that particular day. Still, it's Christmas.
It's Christmas.
Don't let your son's meltdown and your mother's inability to cope with it properly ruin your Christmas. Meltdowns happen. Your mother's inability to deal with it properly is, probably fairly routine. Both of these things are probably fairly routine. It just happened to happen on Christmas, but it didn't ruin Christmas. Because your son's meltdown, your mother's own tantrum doesn't ruin Christmas. It just doesn't. All the good things still happen. A bunch of people loving each other, a bunch of people showing that they care, still happen. Well, take a deep breath. You'll be all right. Okay, what's next?
Falling out of love with your kids when you have a new baby?
That's not really what happens. What happens is this thing called reality sets in, and you're not falling out of love. It's just it's just like anything. You don't fall out of love from your spouse, even though you no longer have that intense passion you had in the first beginnings of your relationship. It's just, if the relationship evolves. Biologically speaking, your focus needs to be on the new baby. The other baby is now old enough to at least feed itself, most likely, and has other family members, community members who can help to take care of the process. The infant needs mother, right? That's how nature works. And so it's not falling out of love, it's shifting. It's evolving. Just like love evolves for everything, love evolves for everything. So, all right, what's next?
Wife made my daughter's friend cry. Apparently, it was her daughter's. She's 10. Best friend, sweet little girl, and the mom just went off on this little kid. And now the daughter is upset. The best friend's parents are not talking to them, and he doesn't know what to do.
Well, from his perspective, there's not much you can do. Who knows what actually happened? Right? But were these kids misbehaving?
I don't know.
And mother had kind of had enough of it for the day. And mom was a little stressed that day. Had enough of them yelling, screaming, doing, whatever it is.
Well, she yelled.
Well, clearly. Yeah. No, but maybe the kids were yelling, screaming, breaking things.
Maybe.
You know how kids can be.
Maybe.
Not even on purpose, right? Just dancing around, knocking lamps over. It happens. So without knowing the complete circumstances involved, maybe she needed to cry Well, stupidity should hurt. Sometimes that hurt us emotionally. If those kids were misbehaving and they got corrected and she's crying because someone finally had the nerve to correct her, well, yeah, you've got what you deserve, didn't you? Now, if the kid was just sitting there and mother all of a sudden just tries to go off because you don't like the color of her hair, that's a vastly different story. But I've known lots of mothers and lots of children. My guess is it leans more towards the first one than the second one. Nothing from nothing brings nothing.
I think it can be done without making a child cry.
Well, yes, but my guess is that hadn't worked, which is why it got to the point where the mother snapped. 10-year-olds are little snots. Just saying. Had lots of them. I'm not going to call the wife necessarily the evil mother here when I know 10-year-olds.
I'm not saying she's evil, she's human.
Well,
she lost her cookies.
Yeah, and sometimes yelling at kids because they've been continually misbehaving and refusing to correct themselves is the appropriate punishment.
I used to ask Tiara, why do you push me to the point where I yell? Why?
Because they're children. They don't know why. They just do. Asking them why is a silly question. They have no answer to that.
Well, now she's using the same words on her daughter.
Her daughters can't answer that question either. Kids don't know. They don't know. It's correction. All right, we're just going to disagree on this one because I don't necessarily think that without knowing more details, I am not willing to say that she was wrong. Because I've raised plenty of 10-year-olds, and 10-year-olds sometimes deserve to be yelled at. Okay, what's next?
Okay, there's this little 5-year-old keeps doing things and tells his dad, "Don't tell mom."
Yeah.
And dad is like, "No, we don't keep secrets from people, from mom." Yeah. But he's wondering what's going on,
There are some things that you do keep from mom just for fun. You don't have to share everything with everybody. You can't have secrets between mom and child and dad and child. Sometimes it's for fun. Sometimes it's because you've got a big birthday surprise coming up and you want to have to keep it under wraps for 3 months and it's hard. There's sometimes to keep secrets from people.
Okay, I understand the birthday thing and presents for Christmas and things like that.
Yeah, I had a candy bar today. Mom doesn't like us eating an extra candy bar, but we're going to eat it to everybody. So let's not tell mom. So just because it's our little secret. Dad has a right to do that, does he not? Dad has a right to give his child a candy bar against the mother's wishes. And neither one of us want to listen to her whine, so we're going to keep this between us. Those kind of things are perfectly fine. What you'd have to teach your children is when to keep secrets and when not to. And you do that by practicing. And this is how you practice. So right now what you do at this age of 5 is you teach them when to tell mom and when not to. Yeah, if it's a little thing and it's for fun, yeah, it's just between me and dad. Mom has no need to know. If she directly asks, you don't lie to her. But there's no need to run up and tell, "Hey mom, me and dad had a candy bar today. Ha ha ha." Don't do that.
It's like Eric. He spent the night at my mom's house. He came running. My nephew. He came running out. His mother arrived. He came running out. "I had ice cream for breakfast." And my mom's, "Gosh darn it!"
Yeah, you don't need to tell them everything. That's the point. It's not necessarily a secret, but not everything needs to be told. And it's perfectly acceptable for some things between child and dad, and some things between child and mom. And it's the responsibility of, frankly, mom and dad to make sure that the proper things get expressed back and forth. Child's going to have to learn that you don't tell everybody everything all the time at some point. You dang well better start practicing now. Okay, what's next?
5-year-old keeps saying, "You don't love me," when he doesn't get his way.
That's nice, Jerry. That's the answer to these things. The more complex of an answer you give, the more you feed it. It's back to don't feed the trolls. He's trolling you. Don't feed him. That's nice, dear. Pat him on the head and send him on his way. And don't respond. Because what he wants at that stage is the attention that he didn't get. And so you have two choices. You can either smother him in attention, or you can pat him on the head and send him on his way. My suggestion is to pat him on the head and send him on his way. You can go the other way. You've got the energy and time.
Well,
You can't play the middle ground. That's the only thing on that one.
I don't think that smothering him with attention, but I think a very simple explanation is you're angry right now.
No, he's not angry. He's manipulating.
When I get angry, I still love you.
He's not angry. She's not angry.
I think
That's not anger.
I think it's a good opportunity to teach. Just because you're upset with someone doesn't mean you don't love them.
Well, I think that's what the patting on the head. That's nice, dear. That's the same message, by the way.
Oh, okay.
There's maybe two different ways of sending it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I know you don't really mean that. Go off and play. That kind of thing. There's a couple ways and again, dads and moms will deal with this, generically speaking, differently. Dads will be the quick, yeah, go. That's nice. Go on. Go do something. Go take a nap. Yeah. So, and moms will go on and try to be a little softer, delivering this essentially the same message. So choose your method. Don't fall for it, because he loves you. He's 5. He just wants what he wants. Okay, what's next?
How do I stop my 4-year-old from lying about serious things? How serious could things be for a 4-year-old?
That's that's actually a good time to start the conversation. Because 4-year-olds lie about all kinds of stuff. Did you eat that cookie? No. Has he's got cookie crumbles in his hands? They're all. I didn't eat the cookie. I don't know what you're talking about. It's all over his face and his hands. I didn't eat no cookies. I don't know what you mean. I didn't eat those.
My oldest daughter came out. She was 5. She came out of the bedroom, makeup all over her face. Were you in my bed makeup bag? No. And I asked her like 3 times, and finally I said, "Go in the mirror and look at your face." And I heard her in there. Ah!
Yeah, so actually that's a good way. It's as best you can. You call them out for the obvious lies that you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't necessarily have to punish them, because they're learning when to and not to. And as an adult, there's the little white lies you give just so you don't have to spend 20 minutes dealing with something, type of thing. Which those are vastly different than, lying to your parents about where you're at 2 a.m. on a Saturday night. But now start now, right? The 4-year-old's not lying about anything serious at the moment. They're lying about eating cookies and getting into makeup. But teaching them to at least be smart about their lying would be, I don't know. That's kind of what you're doing by helping them practice, because that's all you're doing by calling them out. You're actually helping them practice. It's a Streisand effect, man. But knowing that you can, but actually what the things they do learn by you calling them out is that you're not smart enough to get past me. That's another lesson they can learn. Okay.
Yes. 5-year-old started to shrug shoulders repeatedly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He learned he could do it, so now he's going to do it until he's bored with it. And just, yeah. Don't worry about these things. They'll stop because it's annoying. Now, is he shrugging his shoulders when you ask him a question? He's going,
Yeah.
yeah, because he doesn't know. Stop asking any questions you don't know. Now, it could be he doesn't want to answer and he's saying, I don't know, but he's going to say, I don't know if he doesn't shrug his shoulders. So it's just one way of saying, I don't know, or I don't want to answer. It does actually mean both of those things, especially from a 5-year-old, right? It's either I don't know or I don't want to answer. And a 5-year-old, either one of those is just as likely. Did you eat those cookies? Because if I answer, I'm lying. If I say no, I'm lying. But if I go, it can mean anything.
Just shrug your shoulders.
Don't know. Don't know. Yeah. So, yeah. So in a sense, it's just a thing. It's a phase. He'll grow out of it, generically speaking. He'll move on to something else. Okay. We've got some more questions.
Okay. Boss, an experienced executive, constantly communicates poorly, and this means the subordinates, me, are constantly having to do rework. Is this a sign of a big ego?
No. It's a sign that he doesn't know how to communicate in the way that his employees need him to. So what you, knowing this is a problem, need to do is you need to go to your boss and say, hey, boss, you're communicating ineffectively. Send us costing us a bunch of work on the other end. How can we help us communicate so we don't have these miscommunications? Now, theoretically, should he be realizing this? Yes. But sometimes he counts on his team to notice these things, bring them up, and fix them. So maybe you might even want to offer him a solution or two. Hey, can you reformat your requests so we can have less communication issues? Can you do this or this? Or maybe he doesn't want to. Maybe he doesn't have time, whatever it is. But maybe you've got a way to process it on the front end. Send a confirmation. Is this what you mean? When you get the first initial request, send it back. Okay, this is what we hear, but is this what you mean? So you can catch those at the front, change your processes so you try to catch that at the front, bring it up to them. It's your duty. It's perfectly fine. Good bosses, whether they got a big ego or not, want to know where problems are. So if this is a problem, he's going to want to know so we can fix it.
Yeah.
Or make you fix it. Because you bring it up, you get to fix it. That's
usually the rule. Yeah.
That's how that goes. Okay, what's next?
Have you ever rage quit a job?
Rage quit?
No,
not rage
I
quit, but I have.
So.
But I have not gone back, saying, take this job and shove it. I have done that, but not in a rage. I wouldn't call it a rage quit. It's just that the money I make is no longer worth my time, type of thing. No longer worth the size of my paycheck no longer exceeds the amount of BS I'm putting up with, type of thing. But not in a rage, no. Okay, what's next?
Okay, need to bring a doctor's note for vomiting. She vomited once.
Yeah.
In the work, and so she didn't go in.
Yeah.
She spent the day at home.
Uh-huh.
Now work wants a doctor's note.
Well, this is the great thing about teledoctors now. Just send an email to your doctor asking for a work note that you should have stayed home that day. The doctor will send you a work note. You don't even have to actually go in. Just send an email to your doctor, and they'll send you a note back. It's stupid. Get a different job. It's dumb corporate BS. But it is what it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Boss continuously texting me while I'm on personal time off.
Well, I'm going to go back to this. Really depends on the nature of the text. If they just need a if thing real quick and you can answer it real quick, you do. If you are, some low-level employee and they're texting you all kinds of goofy questions that you left answers to, you just don't answer them.
Okay.
It really kind of depends, right? And one person continuously is another person's 3 times. You know, boss asked me for the password on my thing 3 times, man. Continuously, I didn't get a chance to get to him until the third, something like that. Or he asked me where that file was, and it was on my desk and on my keyboard, right? Someplace where he wasn't going to find it normally. Yeah, so you answer the thing. So you answer that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if he's testing you every 5 minutes, where's this? What's that? Oh, you knew I wasn't going to be here. You don't answer those. You just don't answer them. My phone was off all day. It was the day off. My phone was off. It was business. So, again, be reasonable and responsible when dealing with these kind of things. There's no set answer. It's be reasonable and responsible. If they're being unreasonable, you get to say your phone was turned off. If they just need a quick answer, then give them a quick answer. Mm-hmm. And I become suspect with continuously. Was it 10 times or 3 times? 10 times in an hour or 3 times in a day? I just want to know what that means. Okay, what's next?
Now, this is more someone's observation. Modern work isn't that bad.
Yeah, he's just now figuring that out.
He was looking back over history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got it pretty good, really. Yeah. I mean, it's not like we don't have things that we could complain about. It's good to continually move the ball forward, to continue to raise the standard, right? It makes society better. It makes it a good thing. But at the same time, we probably don't need to whine so hard. Life isn't the worst it's ever been. Jobs aren't the worst they've ever been. Employers aren't the worst they've ever been. It's actually quite the opposite. Doesn't mean they don't have problems. Doesn't mean bosses don't suck. It just means that the problems are smaller and they suck less than they used to. And that's not a reflection of how bad things are now. It's a reflection of how bad things were then.
Yes, they were that bad.
We have no idea, especially those of us in the Western modern world. We have no idea. Just no clue. We are so divorced from even the lifestyle of 100 years ago. When electricity was just becoming a thing. The light bulb 100 years ago, 1920s, it was just becoming a thing. We can't even comprehend the life before that. The life of George Washington, we can't even comprehend it. We would call those boats, the Santa Maria, the Pinata, those things would not be considered seaworthy today. No,
they weren't. They leaked.
We would not. Well, I ain't getting on that. That would be none of us would step on that boat. Hey, you guys want to go on a crew on the Santa Maria? No. I'd walk on it, on a nice spring day at the dock to go take a tour. Sure. Go and sail in the 7 seas and that. Oh, heck no. Most people sailed the world in boats like that. We have no idea how good we have it these days. And frankly, that's a good thing, but we should be a little more thankful.
Yeah.
Okay.
The company is telling me to do one thing. My bosses are telling me to do the opposite.
Oh. Do the right thing and let the chips fall where they may. And sometimes that may be doing nothing and walking away. Because you're in a no-win situation. Right? If you do what the company, if you do what the company tells you to do, your bosses are going to be mad at you. Mm-hmm. If you do what the bosses tell you to do, the company's going to be mad at you. Either way, people who are higher than you are going to be mad at you. So the only defense you have is to either walk away or to do what you feel is right and be willing to stand on that mountain. And that's actually quite a powerful position. Now, you may get knocked off because everybody above you is mad at you, but at least you've done the right thing. You're in a no-win situation. The only way to win is to either not play or do the right thing and let the chips fall where they may. Mm-hmm. That's it. It's the only choice you've got. Do with that what you will. Okay.
How do you deal with burnout?
Well, one, you try to avoid it in the first place, is my best suggestion with burnout. Mind yourself. But on the good chance that you are a human being and you miss the signs of early burnout and you don't do the preventative maintenance and you find yourself being burnt out, caught in a rut, all the various terminologies we use to describe that feeling of I just don't want to do this anymore. The only thing you can really do, there's two things. One, you need some rest. You need to unplug as best you can. You take a vacation. And when I mean take a vacation, don't take a vacation where you go off and do things unless doing things makes you relax.
Mhm.
And even then, do minimal stuff. You need mental and physical relaxation. So don't go set off a fun-filled trip to Greece or something. No, fill up a fun-filled trip to your backyard or to your bed. Go to the local museums. You don't want to exert your energy. You want to conserve your energy. And then after a few days of that, you can start returning things on, in a sense. You start with the things you have to turn back on. And some of those things that you used to do, you will never get turned back on again because you were doing too much. So sometimes you're going to have to reconfigure your life. Now, sometimes I've been going for 4 years, you haven't taken a vacation. You just need 2 weeks off, right? You need a week off to kind of unplug, then you need a week off to kind of start re-engaging yourself. By the time you get back, you'll be fine. But if you've been doing too much and you've got more sucking out of you than you have coming into you, you're going to have to either get more input or less output, or maybe a little above. So fill the stove, fill your life with as best you can with the things that energize you, and take the things that de-energize you and remove those from your life as best you can. And as you get that into some kind of balance, you will start to feel better. But if you're actually feeling burnt out, you need to rest, because you can't do the rest of that stuff until you're thinking clearly. And you can't think clearly until you're rested. So you need some rest.
That's a very well laid out plan.
All right. So it's an hour and 12 minutes. You want to blast through these?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We got our intimacy questions coming on. All right.
Condom keeps getting stuck inside me. What does this mean? It means you need a lubricant.
Well, or it means that you're buying too big of condoms for your partner. You're buying large condoms or something when your partner needs a smaller size.
Sorry.
No, sorry or nothing. Just buy the right size. It's fine.
Yeah.
She wasn't complaining. She was just complaining that just get one that's the right size. Those things don't come off easily. So. Well, they don't come off easily. Well, I'm not going there. Never mind. That was a joke that I was not. I decided I'm not saying. Okay, so what's next?
I made fiance cry during sex tonight. His girlfriend. Yeah. He was feeling emotional, and he was telling her how much he loved her, and he was being affectionate. Telling her how much she means to him.
Okay.
And everything, and while he's making love to her, right? And then she starts crying, and he freaks out.
Well, all right, let's put that's better than the other way. Making her cry. So it was a highly emotional moment. Yeah, don't freak out over it. No, I can get it. It's pretty hard to stay with an overly emotional woman. It's it's a kind of deflating thing, shall we say.
Crying does that to you guys.
Well, yeah, most of us anyway.
Ooh.
I'm just saying. There's nothing to do. It was just an emotional moment. Don't. Just makes you tell you there's the line, right? So there you go. Some other things. It happens. It's not a big deal. It feels like a big deal, but it's not really a big deal.
Well, he's only 22.
I mean, it's a big deal. The fact that you guys were sharing an emotional moment. I don't want to undersell the emotional moment. I'm just
That's
saying.
very special. She will always remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but it's in a sense. There's nothing to worry about. There's nothing to do. There's nothing to
No.
yeah. It just is.
Just bask in her love
Yeah,
for you because it's coming right back at you, obviously.
yeah. So
Yeah. Congratulations.
yeah, there's nothing to worry about in a sense. So
Yeah.
there's
No,
there's no advice for us to give you. There's
No.
that's just it's just
Yeah.
you experience a highly emotional moment together, which can for a man be deflating in the intimacy sense at the moment, right? There's two conflicting emotions that right they conflict with each other in that sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not supposed to be at this time, and all my instincts are telling me, oh wait, she's overly emotional. Now is not the time to engage in intimate relations, and yeah. So you'll have worse things happen during sex. Just trust me. If that's the worst thing that ever happens during sex, you're
good.
You're doing all right.
You're doing it.
Okay, what's next?
How do I get over fears of STDs and have sex?
Pick a single partner and use all the precautions until you guys are
Until you use condoms, test, and
but that's the only way to never to never run that risk is to never have sex. The second thing is, so after you've accepted that, is you reduce the risks as high as possible, which means you have a single partner, and you use precautions and testing.
Yeah,
that's my guess
how you do it.
My guess is a fear of things is a common occurrence with this particular person, and so your fear of probably will transfer to something else once you conquer your fear of the dangers of intercourse. But the dangers of intercourse are real. So you just be a responsible adult and you deal with them as responsible as you can, and be on the most responsible side of the responsible people. Right? It's not a overly complicated solution.
Okay.
Test, single person, and protection even after all that. And you will have yourself covered.
You really will.
But at some point, if you want to have children and all that kind of stuff, you're going to have to get past that protection part. At some point, maybe you don't want children, and you don't have to knock yourself out. Okay, what's next?
Girlfriend wants to watch me.
Watch you pleasure himself?
Yeah.
That's not uncommon. Why would you like to watch her? Now, for a guy, it's for whatever reason, guys are programmed to do that alone. And it's not a social thing. You just prefer to do it alone. So, I don't know. Maybe it's the monkey fear of, being vulnerable at that point. It's easy to get eaten. Who knows? Maybe it goes back that far. Because you're at a highly vulnerable state at that thing. Maybe that's what it is. Some extension of that. But it just feels wrong. So now if you can get past that, there's nothing unusual about that. Of course, you may not like your selection of encouragement. So there's always that problem. Okay, what is next?
Life is ruining my libido. Okay, two things. Busy all the time, not enough time, and tired.
Yeah, welcome to life. That's why all the young people are the ones having relations, and old people don't, because we're responsible, busy, and tired, and things hurt. You haven't gotten to the things hurt yet, so wait till that one comes. You think you're ruining the libido now. Wait till your back hurts and your knees hurt and your elbows sore and your hands ache because it's cold outside today. And yeah, wait for all that. Fine. Make them. So, yes. My answer to that question is yes. That's my answer. I don't have a better one. The answer is yes. Go back to get plenty of rest and do your diet, manage your time.
Make time. Yeah.
But the answer is yes. Okay, what's next?
Isn't sex supposed to be enjoyable after the first time?
Well, define enjoyable.
It's supposed to be more, you have the first time and
Mhm.
you're nervous.
Yeah.
Then after that, the nervousness is just gone.
It's not how it works. If you have like some kind of social anxiety, just because you went to a party one time doesn't mean it's going to go away. And no, that's not how it works. But also, it's like anything else. You get good at something the more you do it. And sex is one of those things that, you need one partner to do it a lot, at least safely, and both physically and emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't get a lot of practice. Yeah, so it's for the first few times, it's hard for it to be enjoyable because you don't know what the heck you're doing. Now, luckily, nature kind of took care of some of that. But yeah. So this person, I don't know if it's a man or a woman, isn't, and I'm going to assume it's a woman because
Yes.
because men are programmed to enjoy the end of it. Kind of after that, everything that happened before that doesn't matter. And so, sorry, as long as you got that 10 seconds in there, the rest is good. It's kind of terrible that way. It's not our fault, man. We did not program ourselves. Sorry, that's genetics and DNA and evolution, and it is what it is. But the whole thing before that could be terrible. But as long as that 10 seconds was there, we're good. You guys got the sad end of this. Yeah, you guys might be able to do multiple orgasms and stuff, but it takes you forever to get there. And oh my God. All we care about is the 10 seconds. That's it.
Life is cruel.
Yeah. So your enjoyment has nothing to do whether it's your first time or your last time.
I'll tell you what. I think she was about like 22, something like that.
Yeah.
And look, you haven't reached your sexual peak yet. Wait until you get to be like 32, 35. Oh my goodness. I used to have to grip my desk. I used to have waves of lust just wash over me. And I have to breathe and wait until everything calmed down.
Well, and she may not be comfortable in her body.
Mm.
And especially women, if you're not comfortable in your body, you can have a hard time enjoying intimate relations because you're worried about, does your belly make a roll, and how your boobs look when you're naked, and all kinds of things that rather than enjoying the moment and being there, you're self-conscious. 22-year-olds have a tendency to be self-conscious.
A little bit.
Especially if they're not bikini models, right?
Yeah.
Even bikini models are self-conscious. So, and quite frankly, even the fittest person in the wrong position can look like you got a belly roll, right? There's, it's not that there's some things that aren't flattering. The thing is, no one cares at that moment.
No one cares.
No, but you don't know that until your 30s, and so. Nature, the life is cruel. All right, life is cruel because we are out of time. Thank you for joining us tonight. We will be back next year. I couldn't help myself. Got that one in there. You can find us at latenightLove.us. You can send a love letter to Lovey there at love@latenightLove.us. No, let me rephrase that. You can send a love letter to Lovey at love@latenightLove.us. You can, and all of, you can find us out on KUBU 96.5 FM out here in Sacramento, or the KUBU 96.5 app on your app and Android stores. And for me and Lovey, have a good new year. Please remember to love everybody and have a good night.
Good